This foil is crazy. If you want a long distance pump foil, effortless, or at least it seems like, you have to get this one.
Welcome to Matt on Foil. This is the Alpine foil setup V3 mast. It says it's a DK 1499 front wing titanium fuselage, and the stab is written here because it doesn't say so on the stab. What you gonna do? The board, super light. Yvan Labart, I think, pumps it, loves it. And yeah, super light setup. Let's see how it does. So this here is the axis gear from Kilian. Thank you very much, Kilian. This is the, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the 1750 Fireball.
Yes, right.
Good. So it is huge. It's super high aspect ratio of 1,000.
No, it's 20.1.
Almost,
Yeah,
almost.
It's one Benji and more.
It's more than one Benji. It's the fatty mast.
Yeah.
80 centimeters.
80 centimeters.
And we have the skinny stab 30.
Skinny 30, yeah.
And the super ultra hyper short psycho short fuselage.
Or we just call it psycho short fuselage.
Ah, that's easy naming. That's good. And we have a pretty big board.
Yeah, that's the Dock 99, and soon is coming out the Dock 899, so a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter. This one is a little bit big, also used for kite foiling and stuff, and for pump foiling it's pretty cool, but smaller one is a little bit...
Would work as well, but for me it wasn't a problem. This setup is quite impressive. What's the price of that, more or less?
Well, it's hard to say. Like the mast will be around 1,300, 400. The front wing is hard to say. I don't know the prices yet.
Everything
Around
together?
Together?
3,500-ish?
Yeah, I would say four and a half. Yeah.
All right. All right. So this is the Axis setup. Super cool setup, super high effect. It's new, right? It just came out.
Just came out, yeah.
Brand new. And I'm a bit scared to break it, so I'm going to put it back. Thank you much for having me test that. Super cool.
Too.
All right. Let's get to the next one. So this one here is the Gong setup. It's the 4XL Ultra Trail. It is 1 meter and 80 centimeters, 88. So it's more than me. And it's a short tail. Hilti, please tell me how long it is, and the stab as well.
It's the Carbon S tail with the Ultra Trail L tail wing -1 degree shim. It's a setup I used to pump around Lake Thun.
Thank you very much, Hilti. It's the 72. It's a 72 centimeter mast, V2, quite heavy but quite stiff, and the Clubber 80, the new one. Not sure what the difference is to the old one, but still, that's the Gong setup. Price, it's up here. Price is up here, which is quite a good price, I'd say. Let's get to the next one. So here we have the Takoon setup, 75 centimeter aluminum mast. We have, and I'm just gonna read what it says on here. We have the pump 2,300 front wing, which has a span of 173 centimeters and an aspect ratio of 13, and it pumps quite easy, so it's good for beginner. We have the Glide HA 150 stab, and the fuselage is this one. Not sure which one it is. We have the pump 80 there, pump full board. All in all, this only costs 1,500 euros. This whole setup, which I think is pretty impressive. So keep that in mind while I test that. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Ketos ultra high modulus mast. I'm not even sure how long it is. 75, 80-ish, probably. We have the pump LR155 front wing. So it's not the biggest front wing, but it is good. We have this new fuselage where you can add different tails. I used the pump knife 105 to pump. It doesn't say how long the tail is. I'm gonna write it here because I'm gonna measure it. And the board is their Dock 85 Takoon. Pretty simple, simplistic board. Super light, not a lot of buoyancy, so if you have to swim back, it's not the most comfortable one. But hey, we're here to pump and not to swim, right? So this here is the Betafoil, and it's their version 2. It's 2 meters and 10 centimeters of span, 21 aspect ratio. It is huge. And this time, compared to the last review I did, this one is the short fuselage, so you have a little bit easier pitch axis. All the rest you can find on my video, which is probably up here or up here, not sure. Somewhere up here you can find the whole review of my Betafoils. I like it always a bit more. And this new sport, or this different sport of free falling is intriguing. So that's just something else. That's a Betafoil. Let's continue with the next one. You all know this front wing. It's award-winning. It's not award-winning, it's world record holding. It's the Condor XL. Pretty big. And I used it with the short fuselage, the Barracuda M stab, which is super slim. So it is quite efficient. The span is almost 1 meter 70 centimeters. It's quite a big foil. It's a 2,274 square centimeters. I use it with the aluminum mast, 75 centimeters, and the fun roll board, which I love. So these are the contestants for this comparison. Which one do you think is going to win? Write it down in the comments. Let's get into it. Now let me just say that this comparison is strictly for long distance pumping, for effortless pumping, to stay on foil without losing too much energy. But there's a foil for anyone here. If you don't have a lot of money, get the Takoon. If you have trouble starting, get the Condor XL because it's more forgiving, it's easier. So these foils are all good, just for different purposes or different wallets or just different techniques or skills. But with that in mind, let's focus on effortless pumping, on long distance pumping. So welcome to the conclusion of this long distance wing test. Now, first of all, it is important to know, what does long distance even mean? Is it like Nico Leighton pumping for 4 hours? Is it like Hilti Insta pumping around Lake Toon? For me, not. Just because I'm not that good yet. Maybe in a while, maybe I can do that, but for now, not. My criteria, what I looked at was how effortless can I pump? How easy does it feel? How is my pulse, my heart frequency? Does it stay at 160, 170, or does it go through the roof 190? That is my criteria, and that's what I based it on. what I didn't go as long as possible just because it wouldn't have been fair for the foil afterwards. And also, it's not only about foil, of course, it's not about the front wing, it's also about how long is your fuselage or your tail, how big is your stab, your back wing, how stiff is the mast, how big is your board. Those are all components, obviously, and then, as you can see now, there's the little wind. A little headwind makes everything so much more difficult. So I base it on some data that I collected with Foil Session. Thank you very much, Foil Sessions, for helping me out with this video. I tracked all my tries, my fails, my goes to the other dock with Foil Sessions, and I always kept a look on my heart frequency just because I wanted to keep it as low as possible. All right, so you're all here for the ranking. For the brands, what I had, it was Axis, Betafoil, Takoon, Gong, Indiana, Alpine, and Ketos. Those were the brands I was able to work with, and I didn't use the biggest foil of them, but the foil with the most span. That was my thing, because I thought, well, long distance needs to be efficient, right? So high aspect ratio, let's go with that. On last place, and let's not call it last place because it makes it look bad. All these foils work. They have sometimes a different purpose, but from my point of view, if I wanted to go long distance, as long as possible, maybe follow Hilti for a few stations around the lake, for me, not the easiest foil was the Alpine foil. It is very fun to pump, don't get me wrong. The setup is super light. The titanium fuselage is very nice. Maybe a smaller stab would have helped a bit, but with that I had the problem, and please tell me in the comments if I'm wrong or if it's my technical mistake. The board sometimes kind of slipped a bit. I had to focus to really pump straight and not have this side to side movement. So Alpine foil, even though it is super light and fun to pump, not my favorite to go long distance. On place number 6 for me was the Takoon setup. Takoon also has its place in this pumping world because this whole setup that you can see here is like 1,500 euros with the mast, with the front wing, the board, everything together. Even comes with covers for the wings and the fuselage. What I would be interested in is a smaller stab and maybe a shorter fuselage. So if you want to see that later on, make sure to tell me so in the comments, so maybe I can test it with a smaller stab. But other than that, it works super well. The movement is pretty slow. You can pump slowly with this one. You know, when I gave it to Hilti, unfortunately, the screws got unscrewed a bit and it was super wobbly, and then I retightened it and it was a little bit stiffer, but still the connection between the mast and the base plate is not 100% exact. So you have a little bit of play and you feel that when on foil. Other than that, super cool. I'm gonna review it in a little long-term review because I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna pump it, because I think for beginners who are maybe not sure if they want to spend 3,000 to 5,000 bucks, 1,500 seems like a good deal. So Takoon on place number 6, still very good. So place number 5 is a foil that I like a lot. It is a foil that I've used a lot. It's the Condor XL with a span of almost 1 meter and 70 centimeters. It's a pretty big foil. So the area is 2,274 square centimeters. So it's a big foil. You can feel that. It is not super efficient, but it is a very forgiving foil. So if you want to get into that long distance, for example, if you even don't reach the minute and you want to get to the minute, that foil will get you there because it's not as technical as the other foils. But then again, like, it's a world record holding foil. So how can I say it's not the best for a long distance? I'm not a long distance pumper. And I really think it's not a foil that makes a long distance foil. It's the pumper who makes it long distance. I mean, look at Nicola Eaton. He pumped that for 4 hours. I didn't. It's still a long distance foil, isn't it? Just not for my technique. And as I've said, I'm just not the best. So that's number 5. let's come to number 4. Just missed the podium. It's the biggest foil I know. It's the Betafoil with a span of 2 meters and 10 centimeters. It is huge. It is light. It's got 2 masts, but they're super thin, and they even gave me the short fuselage, so it's easier in the pitch axis. Yes, with that foil you can probably pump forever. I can't, but I'm getting better at it. I'm getting longer, but still, if I lose focus for just 2 seconds and I start spiraling, there's just no coming back. The advantage is you can start basically from everywhere. I cannot say that about all the other foils, but if you make a mistake, it's really hard to recover. So that's why it's not on the podium. Still very interesting, super cool. We have Kilian in the back chasing waves. He gave me the Axis foils to test. Thank you, Kilian. So Betafoil, place number 4, awesome, really cool, but it's for another discipline. It's not long distance pumping, I would say. It's free foiling, and you're gonna hear more about it in my podcast with Devin and Todd. So stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to not miss that episode, or check on Spotify or Apple Podcast. So on the podium, 3rd place is a foil that you know is a long distance foil. It's the Ultra Trail 4XL from Gong. It's the whole Gong setup with the short fuselage, and I mean, look at this stab. This stab is crazy. It's a dagger. But for me, what makes it really good is it's kind of effortless. You can go forever. It still feels like a foil. You can turn. If you make a mistake, you can manage to get it back on track. Also with the short fuselage, it's really kind of turny for a huge front wing like that. Hilti loves it. I love it. So really, that's number 3. And also, honestly, the price is pretty good. And he gave it to me with the V2 mast. So it's a heavy mast, thick mast, but hey, it's super stable, and that's super important as well. So that's on the podium, place number 3. On the 2nd place is a foil that I thought would not make the podium because it's not super big. I thought it'd be more like the Alpine, good to pump around, to pump a little longer, but this one is really good. So here on the 2nd place is the Ketos Pump LR 155. It felt really effortless. The board pretty light. The mast quite stiff, not the stiffest, but stiff enough. I used the pump knife 105. I could have gone smaller even. The short tail, and it really felt quite effortless. I really thought that I could go even longer than with the Gong because it's just lighter. Like coming back up high on the mast, really easy. What was a bit weird for me was also the movement, the yaw movement. There was quite a lot of it compared to the Gong, but that's maybe also because the wing is not super huge. Yes, it's big, but it's not super huge. So the Ketos really surprised me, like it a lot. If you want an in-depth review of the Ketos, please tell me so in the comments or hit me up on Instagram, because I can pump it maybe another day and look at it a little more. So that leaves me with the 1st place. And maybe you've skipped here. If you skipped here, that's fine. It's all up to you. Just think about the effort it took to do that. If you like this comparison, think about helping me out. Buy me a cup of coffee on Buy Me a Coffee. Link is in the description. But let's come to the number 1. The number 1 is, of course, the Axis 1750. It's brand new. That's actually a prototype, but it's got an aspect ratio of like 1,000,000. I've used the skinny 30 stab and the psycho short fuselage, which is I think the shortest. I don't get their names, but it's super short. And the fatty mast, so super stable mast, and as I've heard, not super expensive compared to other Axis masts, that is. I used the big board, like 1 meter. For me, a little bit too big, but honestly, that foil felt so effortless. Like the short fuselage made it easy to get high on the mast. The skinny worked super well. I had enough push to get up, and even if I wanted to start, there's so much glide. that you have a lot of time to actually just get comfortable and start pumping. Yes, of course, when I change foils, sometimes I fail and I had to restart. But after like 2 failed starts, usually it worked and it's really comfortable. And as you can see here on foil sessions, my heart rate with this foil was actually the lowest. So I think that foil really deserves the #1 spot so far for long distance pump foil. If it's not the way you thought it'd be, please tell me so in the comments. If you think, well, your methods are shit, that's your opinion, and you're probably right, right? If I owned all these foils, I could go for 3 weeks and do nothing else, but honestly, I'm not paid. So, you know, if you don't like it, that's fine. Tell me so in the comments why you don't like it and what I should do differently. But I think that's been it. See you guys in the next one.